Oswego. Welcome to another edition of Our District Show. I'm Jenna.
And I'm Tyler. So have you heard about the Ed Center moving from East 1st Street to Layton Elementary?
Yeah, I did hear about that. I actually heard that the maintenance staff for our district worked with some contractors and turned one of the wings in Layton into district offices.
Awesome. I actually had a chance to take a look at that about last week. So I think they really did a great job.
Awesome. Well, there are a lot of good things going on in our district right now, and last month Dr. Gui actually mentioned that there are educational initiatives in the works for Oswego, and one of those is a literary task force.
Let's send it over to Dr. Gui and Mrs. Beck for more information.
Welcome, Sherry Beck. Sherry is the new district's literacy coach, and she's also the chair of the new district literacy elementary task force. And yesterday, we had the first literacy task force meeting. And so we're going to just sort of debrief about how the first meeting went, Sherry. So thanks for coming in. I was excited to see what the representation was from all 5 schools and different types of teachers. What really is the makeup of the task force?
When we formulated the task force, we looked for a good cross-section of teachers. We had literacy specialists, library specialists, we had special educators there, we had ENL teachers there as well. So everyone's voice is included in the conversation about how best to teach literacy in the district. And that's just so exciting when you bring all those professionals together who have a vested interest in our students.
I noticed that you even have an elementary school psychologist on the committee, which just gives a whole new perspective about the socio-emotional developmental health of kids and how that really impacts everything. Being that trauma is another one of our initiatives, it's good to have everybody at the table who has all those perspectives.
He was very excited to be there, as he's also a member of the Reading League board. So he has another perspective to bring to the committee. So I think that's very exciting that he wanted to be a part of that.
Great. Dana and I had talked in a previous show about how we're trying to scaffold a master plan for our district. And that started 2 years ago with the development of our district's new mission and vision. And I shared that with the committee last night. Now that we have our mission and vision in place and it's well branded across our district, now we have also our long-range educational plan, which focuses on trauma-informed classrooms and EDI. EDI is something you know a lot about. Can you talk a little bit about EDI?
Yes, for the last 2 years we've initiated across all 5 elementary buildings training for professional development for explicit direct instruction, and the teachers have really received it well. Administrators are helping give feedback to teachers as they implement it in the classroom, so that's been a very exciting movement to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our students across the district.
What I like about it, and you hear me talk often about the importance of standardizing opportunities for kids.
Yes.
Making sure that the opportunity for kids for great planning and delivery of instruction, and actually all 7 of our schools, is so important.
Yes.
And that's what I love about EDI. It provides a framework for just great planning and teaching.
Right.
So the next natural step, from my perspective, which is why your role is so important, is to focus on elementary reading. Our scores, like many school district scores, are mediocre. And I think we can do a much better job because we have a talented group of teachers.
Yes.
But yet our scores are not what we want them to be. Although we see our graduation rates increasing and our August graduation rate is now in the 80s.
That's exciting.
That would indicate that students in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, around 80% should be reading on grade level.
Yes.
But that doesn't happen necessarily. Our levels of 3s and 4s are not what we would like. So ultimately that's our goal. So what are some next steps for the Literacy Task Force?
Well, last night we began to formulate a survey that we'll be giving to teachers to find out what their needs are in the classroom, how they're feeling about the materials we're using, and how well they think their students are receiving those materials. That's a first step. I've also been pushing into K2 classrooms to gather data on what the students are doing and how they're receiving the instruction. And I'll bring that data back to the meeting, and when we meet on January 18th, and we'll determine what our next steps are from there.
Right.
But looking at data and finding out what we can do better as a district, and then provide professional development to teachers to further help them with that initiative.
And don't you think that literacy is not an Oswego problem? Reading achievement is a New York State problem right now, and I think that we've gone through so many dramatic changes, like the implementation of the Common Core, which really doesn't impact reading directly, but with that came modules of instruction, and we have different feelings and philosophies about the modules, and were they good for us or not good for us. But really, if we focus on the three frameworks, we have to have a philosophical framework of what we believe, and then decide what method we're going to use and what materials will help us
Yes.
do that. And I'm hoping when we boil it all down, we're going to have a framework for literacy that everyone can believe in, so that as kids move around our district, the opportunities are the same.
Yes. We talked about the 5 pillars of literacy last night, and helping kids make sure that teachers are providing them with phonemic awareness lessons and phonics instruction and fluency and comprehension. And we had some great discussion around those 5 pillars. And what we're finding is that students across the county are struggling to read by 3rd grade. In some states, in fact, they've even made it mandatory that kids be retained in 2nd grade if they can't read by 3rd grade.
Right.
So we're with others in trying to make sure that our kids can read, at least to have that foundation before they enter 3rd grade.
I think too we have to look for a gap between the quality of our instruction and the assessments we're using.
Yes.
Because if we have an 81% graduation rate, clearly we don't have a 30% literacy success rate in the elementary school. There's a disconnect there.
Somehow,
I think
yes.
we're teaching better than our assessments are giving us credit for.
Yeah, definitely.
But we want to make sure that the alignment of our instruction to assessments is strong.
And we will be looking at state test data to see where those gaps are and what we can do better
Right.
to address those gaps.
Great. Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's nice to see you.
You too.
This seems like a really progressive step to help the students in Oswego.
Definitely. And there are a lot of people in our school district trying to find ways to motivate students, like the principal at Fitzhugh Park Elementary.
Yeah, Ms. Simmons sent us a clip of her interacting with one of her students discussing the new year and various topics.
Awesome. Let's take a look.
Welcome back from the holiday weekend. I'm Cadence, and this is Miss Simmons. What's happening in the month of January?
Oh my goodness, 2018, can you believe it? Happy New Year, everyone. And yes, lots of things happening in January. We have a family night event planned, so stay tuned for more information on that. And this month, I know that teachers will be reviewing and updating their goals as well as students' goals. You know, what kind of goals are you going to have for the 2018 year? So they'll update academic goals and personal goals in their notebooks, and hopefully they'll reach for the stars, because we want everyone to make sure that they're doing as much as they can to be their best and be fully prepared and life ready. So again, welcome back and Happy New Year.
I'm glad to see some new faces behind the camera. Maybe Cadence will become a member of WVUC one day.
I really hope so.
So speaking of the new year, last month our music program put on a holiday show for all of us at OHS.
Yeah, it was a great way to get ready for the holidays and to end 2017 off right.
Yeah, it was a great performance from everyone involved.
Between the band, orchestra, and chorus members performing, there really was something for everyone to enjoy.
Yeah, I certainly enjoyed it. It was a nice break from classes, and it was a great introduction to our holiday break.
It really got me in the holiday spirit, and it was awesome that our principal, Mr. Wallace, stepped in and played the tuba.
For sure. It really seems like he's a man of many talents.
Definitely. Altogether, the concert sounded great. Thanks for watching, and make sure to tune in next month for another edition of our show.
And also, make sure to stay tuned to our YouTube channel, WBUC-NY, for more shows weekly, and also our morning announcements.
Have a great month, Oswego.
You're watching W Book Student produced